They told you EVs would save you money. Free city driving, no road tax, cheap charging at home. Governments across Europe spend billions in incentives convincing you to go electric. Now those same governments are systematically dismantling every single promise they made. London just announced EVs will pay £13.50 daily to enter the city, the same cars that drove free yesterday. Norway, the EV paradise, is slashing benefits. Germany killed its bonus scheme entirely, and there's serious discussion about tracking every mile you drive and charging you for it. The bait and switch is complete, and if you bought an EV believing the financial promises, what I'm about to reveal will make you furious. This isn't about whether electric cars are good or bad for the environment. This is about governments making financial promises to push you towards expensive purchases, then quietly changing the rules once you've committed tens of thousands of euros. The pattern is undeniable. Global EV subsidiaries reached around $30 billion in 2021 alone, according to IEA-based estimates, with European governments responsible for a significant portion. Those incentives drove adoption exactly as planned. EV registrations exploded. Manufacturers retooled entire factories. Millions of Europeans bought electric vehicles based on total cost of ownership calculations that assumed these benefits would continue. Now the trap is springing shut. What you're about to learn comes from official government announcements, treasury documents, and policy papers that reveal exactly how the cheap-to-run EV narrative is being systematically destroyed. 9 specific ways governments are clawing back every financial advantage they promised you. If you're considering an EV purchase or already own one and want to know what's coming, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this information could change your buying decision entirely. And if you think your country is safe from these changes, wait until you see number 3. And help us grow this community by using the hype feature below. It gives this content an extra boost to reach more European drivers who need to know the truth before they sign finance agreements based on promises governments are already breaking. Let's start with the announcement that reveals exactly where this is heading. Transport for London confirmed that from 2nd January 2026, electric vehicles will lose their full exemption from the congestion charge. EVs that currently drive into central London completely free will pay £13.50 per day, a 25% discount from the new £18 standard rate for those registered with autopay. The justification? According to TfL, there are now nearly 120,000 electric vehicles registered in London, 6 times more than in 2019. The exemption that was sustainable when EVs were rare has become financially impossible now that adoption succeeded. Think about what this means. The incentive worked exactly as designed. People bought EVs partly because driving into London cost nothing while petrol and diesel owners paid £15 daily. Now that behavior change is complete, the reward disappears. A London EV owner entering the zone 5 days a week will face new annual costs of approximately £3,500, costs that didn't exist when they made their purchase decision. For many, this fundamentally changes the economics they calculated when choosing electric. But here's why London matters beyond London. Transport for London has become a policy laboratory that other cities watch closely. The ultra-low emission zone expansion, the congestion charge structure, the exemption phase-outs, these policies tend to spread. Birmingham, Manchester, Bristol, and cities across Europe look to London's approach. When TfL proves that removing EV exemptions is politically survivable and financially necessary, expect other cities to follow within 24 to 36 months. To understand why governments are turning on EVs, you need to understand the money they're losing. According to the Office for Budget Responsibility figures, fuel duties are expected to raise approximately £24.5 billion in 2024 to 25. That's roads, hospitals, schools, funded by every litre of petrol and diesel sold. Every electric vehicle that replaces a combustion car eliminates that revenue stream entirely. Analyses for the UK government suggest fuel tax revenues could fall by around £10 billion by 2030. And up to £30 billion by 2040 if EV adoption continues under net zero scenarios, according to OECD research examining decarbonisation impacts. Governments aren't worried about EVs because of environmental concerns. They're worried because EVs represent the largest tax base erosion in automotive history. Germany faces similar projections. The Energiesteuer, energy tax, formerly Mineralölsteuer, generates around 34 to 40 billion euros annually depending on the year. France collects approximately 30 billion euros through TICPE, the domestic consumption tax on energy products. Every successful EV adoption undermines these revenue streams. This isn't speculation about what governments might do. This is mathematics forcing their hand. The question isn't whether they'll replace lost fuel duty, it's how and when, and the answer is already emerging across Europe. Remember when EVs paid no road tax? That era is ending faster than most owners realize. In the UK, the government announced that from 1st of April 2025, electric vehicles will pay vehicle excise duty for the first time. New EVs will pay £10 in the first year, the lowest CO2 band rate, then move to the standard rate of £195 annually from year 2. Vehicles with a list price exceeding £40,000 also face the expensive car supplement of £425 annually for 5 years, bringing total annual VED to around £620. For a £50,000 EV purchased from April 2025, that's £620 annually in road tax that didn't exist before. Over a typical 5-year ownership period, that's over £3,000 in costs that weren't in your original calculations. Norway, the country that proved EV adoption was possible, has been quietly rolling back benefits for years. From 2023, 25% VAT applies to the portion of an EV's price exceeding 500,000 NOK, approximately €43,000. Weight-based fees were introduced, hitting heavier EVs harder. Toll road discounts have been reduced from 100% to 50% in many areas. Recent proposals aim to lower the VAT threshold further and potentially remove exemptions entirely by 2027. Sweden abruptly abolished its climate bonus for new EV orders in November 2022, with remaining bonuses phased out by early 2024. The malus penalty for high-emissions vehicles continues, but the purchase incentive that drove adoption is gone. Denmark reimposed registration taxes on EVs that had been exempt. The pattern is consistent: promise exemptions to drive adoption, then systematically remove them once adoption reaches critical mass. Here's what should concern every driver, not just EV owners. Governments across Europe are actively studying pay-per-mile road charging to replace declining fuel duty, and EVs are accelerating the timeline. The UK Transport Select Committee has examined road pricing as inevitable given fuel duty decline. The RAC Foundation has published extensive analysis on distance-based charging implementation. The technology exists: telematics boxes, GPS tracking, automatic number plate recognition. The only barriers are political. Documents from the European Commission discuss harmonized road charging frameworks that could enable cross-border per-mile pricing. The Netherlands has studied kilometer-based pricing for over a decade and came close to implementation before political changes delayed it. What does this mean practically? Your car could be tracked every mile you drive. Rates could vary by time of day, road type, vehicle weight, and emissions. The concept of free roads disappears entirely. For EV owners specifically, this is particularly concerning. You bought a vehicle partly because driving was cheap. Electricity costs per mile were far below petrol. Per mile road charging could eliminate that entire advantage. If you pay 8p per mile for electricity and then 10p per mile for road access, your cheap-to-run EV suddenly costs more than a diesel. The UK government is not committed to per-mile charging, but Treasury documents acknowledge they need to find replacement revenue from somewhere. The options are limited. EVs have a physics problem that governments are beginning to exploit. They're heavy, much heavier than equivalent combustion vehicles, and that weight is becoming a taxation target. The average electric SUV weighs approximately 2,200 to 2,500 kilograms, often 300 to 500 kg more than a petrol equivalent. That extra weight comes from batteries, and it causes measurably more road damage. According to engineering studies, road wear increases exponentially with vehicle weight. A vehicle twice as heavy causes roughly 4 times the road damage. Paris led the charge in February 2024, voting to triple parking charges for SUVs weighing over 1,600 kg for petrol or 2,000 kg for electric. Visitors to Paris with heavy vehicles now face parking costs of up to €18 per hour in central areas, potentially €225 for a full day. While this targets all heavy vehicles, EVs are disproportionately affected because their battery packs make weight reduction extremely difficult. A Tesla Model X weighs over 2,400 kg. A BMW iX can exceed 2,500 kg. These vehicles face the highest charges under weight-based schemes. Lyon and other French cities are considering similar measures. Germany has discussed weight-based road taxation. The Netherlands has examined differentiated parking charges. The justification is logical. Heavier vehicles cause more infrastructure damage and should contribute more to repairs. But the effect is to penalize the very vehicles governments spent years promoting. The cheap-to-charge narrative assumed public charging would remain affordable. That assumption has proven catastrophically wrong. According to RAC Charge Watch data, public rapid charging costs in the UK have climbed sharply over recent years. The average cost per kilowatt-hour at public rapid chargers now sits around 75 to 80 pence, with some motorway service networks charging over 85 pence per kilowatt-hour. Let's calculate what this means. A typical EV with a 60 kWh battery charging from 20% to 80% at a rapid charger takes approximately 36 kWh. At 79 pence per kilowatt-hour, current Ionity rate without subscription, that's £28.44 for roughly 150 miles of range. A diesel doing 50 miles per gallon covering the same distance would use about 3 gallons, approximately £22 at current UK fuel prices. The EV costs more to fuel than the diesel. Yes, home charging remains cheaper, around 24 pence per kilowatt-hour on average tariffs, or 7 pence on overnight economy rates. But this assumes you have off-street parking with a home charger. Roughly 40% of UK households are estimated not to have off-street parking. And in London, it's over 60%. These owners are entirely dependent on public charging networks whose prices have soared. European patterns are similar. German public charging costs on average 55 to 79 cents per kilowatt-hour depending on network and speed. French prices have risen sharply since energy market disruptions. The cheap-to-run calculation only works if you can charge at home, a privilege millions of urban Europeans don't have. The purchase grants that made EVs financially competitive are vanishing across Europe. Germany's Umwelt bonus, or environmental bonus of up to €6,000 was halted abruptly on 17 December 2023, terminated earlier than scheduled after a court ruling on budget funds, without the transition period manufacturers had expected. Sales immediately declined. According to KBA registration data, German EV sales fell sharply in early 2024 compared to late 2023. The UK's plug-in car grant, which once provided £5,000 towards EV purchases, was reduced repeatedly before being closed to new orders on 14th of June 2022. Buyers who delayed purchases expecting the grant to continue found themselves paying full price. France has reduced its ecological bonus multiple times and imposed income caps limiting who qualifies. The Netherlands eliminated purchase subsidies. Sweden's bonus system ended in late 2022, with final payments phased out by early 2024. Some incentives remain. Ireland still offers SEAI grants. Some countries provide company car tax benefits, but the direction is unmistakably towards reduction, not expansion. This matters for anyone calculating total cost of ownership. An EV that made financial sense with a €6,000 grant looks very different without it. The payback period extends, the comparison with combustion vehicles shifts, and manufacturers, having tooled up for EV demand driven by incentives, now face markets where their products are substantially more expensive relative to alternatives. For many Europeans, company car tax benefits were the primary financial reason to choose electric. Those benefits are being systematically reduced. In the UK, electric company cars currently attract a benefit-in-kind rate of just 2%, extraordinarily low compared to petrol vehicles at 20 to 37%. This made EVs almost irresistible for company car drivers. A £50,000 EV costs a 40% taxpayer around £400 annually in tax. The same value petrol car could cost £7,000 to £8,000. But the government has confirmed BIK rates will increase. From 2025 to 26, the rate rises to 3%, then 4% in 26 to 27, and 5% in 27 to 28. While still advantageous, the gap narrows each year. More significantly, Treasury documents suggest this trajectory will continue. As EV adoption among company fleets reaches saturation, the justification for preferential treatment weakens. German company car taxation, or Dienstwagen, already applies different rates based on vehicle price and battery size. The 0.25% rate for EVs under €60,000 becomes 0.5% above that threshold. As average EV prices remain high, more company cars fall into less favorable categories. For business users who choose EVs based on current tax advantages, the calculation will look increasingly different. A company car benefit worth £5,000 annually in saved tax might be worth £2,000 in 5 years. That's a substantial change to total cost of ownership. The final financial hit comes when you try to sell. EV residual values, once assumed to be strong, are proving weaker than many forecasts predicted. According to trade data and analyst reports, some used EV models saw value drops approaching 30 to 50% in 2023, and EVs overall fell much faster than the wider used car market. While some stabilization occurred in 2024, EVs continue to depreciate faster than many buyers expected. Several factors drive this. Technology advancement means newer EVs have substantially better range and charging speeds, making older models less desirable. Battery degradation concerns, whether justified or not, make buyers cautious about used EVs, and the removal of purchase incentives means new EV prices have fallen in some segments, pulling down used values. A 3-year-old EV that costs £45,000 new might now be worth £22,000 to £25,000. Similar depreciation percentages to combustion vehicles, but from a higher starting price, meaning larger absolute losses. For owners who calculated that strong residual values would offset higher purchase prices, this represents another broken assumption. The total cost of EV ownership, purchase price minus resale value, plus running costs plus taxation, looks increasingly less favorable than the promises suggested. These 9 changes represent a systematic unwinding of the promises governments made to encourage EV adoption. Congestion charges returning, road tax introduced, fuel duty replacement schemes being planned, weight-based penalties hitting heavy EVs, charging costs soaring, purchase incentives eliminated, company car benefits reducing, resale values falling. None of this means EVs are bad vehicles. The driving experience, the instant torque, the reduced local emissions, the lower maintenance requirements, these advantages remain real. For some buyers, particularly those with home charging, short commutes, and genuine environmental motivation, EVs still make sense. But the financial case, the "it'll pay for itself" argument that drove much adoption, is collapsing. The most frustrating aspect is the bait-and-switch nature. Governments didn't present EV incentives as temporary measures to kickstart adoption. They presented them as the future of motoring. Buyers made decade-long financial commitments based on cost calculations that assumed those incentives would persist. Now those buyers face costs they didn't anticipate, can't afford, and couldn't have predicted when they signed purchase agreements. For anyone considering an EV purchase in 2025 or 2026, the calculation must change. Don't assume current tax benefits will continue. Don't assume public charging will remain at current prices. Don't assume road tax exemptions won't appear. Build in substantial contingency for policy changes, because the pattern is clear. Governments giveth, and governments taketh away. The EV ride is officially over. Plan accordingly. Did you buy an EV based on financial promises that are now disappearing? Are you reconsidering a planned EV purchase after seeing these changes? Share your experience in the comments below. I read every one. And if this video revealed information that could change your buying decisions or those of someone you know, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that cuts through automotive marketing to reveal what's actually happening to European drivers. Help us grow by using the hype feature below. It gives this content an extra boost to reach more drivers who need this information before making expensive commitments based on promises governments are already breaking.